This is Kal Kat, the Calicaster Adam Brown on Brown Productions videos. Yeah, I just thought I would chime in on the again on the weird nostalgia trip that is the algorithm thinking now that I looked for the Brady Bunch house and their views yesterday that nothing Brady Bunch stuff popping up everywhere. I used to love that show as a kid. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there was an update to the other thing. Apparently, yeah, I looked up some of the early stuff, and apparently we had been there to that. Around the same time that the first trip to see some of the backlot of the Dukes of Hazzard, that Universal and Studio City trip, and that area, went over there, did a lot of hanging around in the 70s, late 70s, probably 78, 79. We saw Studio City in the house, but I was probably 9, or 8 or 9, so I was really little. I didn't. Yeah, no wonder I was nostalgic for it. That's what I was thinking about. I saw it, but yeah, in fact, we did. So I'll correct that. But but yeah, the Brown Video Productions, or holiday video things that we made up. This is for the holiday channel. We're not a studio, not a series, not working anything in Hollywood, nothing like that. It'd be independent or indie. It's not a studio at all. But being raised on television and TV, the MTV generation and all that, everything's like a television show. Nowadays, the kids call it reality TV. Well, that was invented in the next generation too. That was invented in the late 80s. It's reality TV. Yeah, the whole premise of the Kal Kat show when it started and all that was a failed child star comes back and does his shtick on this new thing called YouTube, because that would be funny. We're still around. Hey, we're still around. The algorithm doesn't like us very much, and we don't have as many subscribers. That'd be cool to have more subscribers, but we're still out there. We're still the channel didn't make any AdSense at all because all the subscribers disappeared. We're down to hundreds of subscribers on all of our channels, but we have 45,000 views on the main channel. So they've watched Kal Kat videos hundreds of thousands of times. Tens of thousands of times. Tens of thousands of times, let's clarify. 45,000. Brown Productions. All the smaller channels, not so much. But yeah, the Kal Kat show has had more visual appearances than it ever did when it was in-house radio thing, with the guys doing a radio thing in the 80s. And we did a radio thing. And yeah, that led to the Evergreen and the Evergreen Flyer paper, and then San Jose State at the Spartan Daily. That led to us occasionally meeting stars and actors and going to conventions all the time and meeting the actors there at conventions. They still didn't know who we were, of course. We weren't famous. No. I think the most famous the Kal Kat show ever got is 2017. That was the height of our back then. A crossover with the Channel Awesome people at a convention called Fanime. Ever since then, it's been downhill from there. But yeah, so I wanted to just clarify that's what that was, and also it wasn't a show. Nobody's getting paid. There's no. If there was a show and there was a show creator, it would have been Mom and Dad. They would have created it, put us in the show. I remember the earlier videos referring to the Brady Bunch quite a lot, humming the theme song, walking up to the door quite a lot, that kind of thing. I really loved it. So, and the spin-offs, not so much. Variety Hour, I didn't really want so much. That was afterward. It kind of inspired the holiday video specials. Actually, they definitely Christmas Tale, right? The 1988 video, which was about 10 months after that Josh Braun kid from Pineville died, so like a year left, end of the year. So this it has nothing to do with it, but 1988 was a strange year for goofy stuff going on, so why not do a Christmas special? In the same year, they aired another Brady Bunch special. They had one previously called the Brady Brides, and didn't really care for that one so much, but it was little. So yeah, it was little. It was all in reruns. There were constant reruns of this show on KBHK 44 and Channel 2. They constantly at Channel 2 and 44. And they would show reruns of these shows all the time. 36 did too. It was KBHK 44. And I remember this weird, one of the reunion specials having a weird commercial for the wedding one. So one of them wasn't in it, so they pretended like she was. And they're all like, oh, this one Brady character, she's gonna be all doing these different things, and this is a weird commercial. I mean, local stations would put up, a weird commercial, and it didn't happen in the movie. There was in '88 they did the Christmas special, Brady Bunch Christmas special. I remember thinking it was so corny. At that point, corny was a new thing, because I was like 17. It was a new thing, just barely 18. And, oh my goodness, this is corny, it's silly. I realized it was silly. I should have realized the whole premise of the show was silly. But yeah, it was, and I was making fun of it the entire time. And there's a lot of cut scenes that were not in the special that's aired on YouTube, where I kept referring to the show. It was a longer version of it. I filmed the dinner conversation at one point, just because I could. I tried to bring back the Kitty show, the Kitty Cat show with stuffed animals. I was 18 years old. What the heck was I doing? That's why that's not included. It didn't make sense. I had lots of little nieces and nephews, so yeah, it's fine. Some of them were my age, which was interesting. But yeah, they're half brothers. There are no steps in on the Brady Bunch. They used to say that. But yeah, and then in the '90s, the Brady Bunch was like, oh, we're gonna. There was a sequel. They did a sequel to the Christmas Tale 2, because they'd had another special, and also Christmas, and and I kept going back to the show and doing the show thing, and it's going back to the show, and everybody kept wondering what the hell I was doing. Why does he keep going back to this, referencing this awful like Brady Bunch reunion where they for a total of what was it, 6 episodes? They made it all angsty and dark and ruined the characters. and one of them gets crippled, and what a puppy. And it's like, what is this show? It's horrible. Later on, the X-Files spoofed it by doing an X-Files episode where they kind of didn't get it right. Got some of it right, but yeah, using some of the sets from the movie they were going to make in 1995. So the movie sets. They did a movie with a new cast based on the the stage play, which was not official. It was not licensed. It was just a stage play. And the movie's not bad. The 95 movie's not bad. The sequel is not bad either. But third sequel, I didn't see it. Yeah, I understand that recently they attempted to renovate the house over there. And they did a good job over there with the property guys. And then immediately sold it to the ex-HBO guy's wife. Instead of Maureen McCormick. But oh well, yeah. But it's still sitting there. I guess you can't go on tour there anymore. But if she was smart, she would make it a museum, so everybody could go in there and look around. Yeah, and charge like $200 to go in there. I'd pay it. Sure, why not? I'll go in there. It's worth it. Just to see the whole thing, the whole thing. You got to be able to see every detail. You spend like 40 minutes in there walking around. It's got to be worth it. But yeah, it's pretty much. But we were not in a show. It wasn't on location. Was never a show. The Kitty show was never a show. But I'm sure that all that inspired something. There's Dukes of Hazzard and those reruns too. And all that inspired something. You could tell from the early Brown productions that's what was going on. So some of the inspiration. It wasn't just the Transformers and G.I. Joe. It was the Brady Bunch, the Dukes of Hazzard, MASH a little bit, the TV show, the comedy one. Show Cheers quite a lot. That stuff like that. All these shows that inspired the Kal Kat stuff. Kal Kat did not become a thing until 1986. That was Kal Kat. But yeah, yeah. So I just thought I'd chime in and mention that the whole. Yeah, it's not a show. We're not crazy. There isn't like a thing going on where we're nuts. It's that life is like a television show, and they picked up on that and made reality TV out of it. Um, the an art imitates life. When you go to the Fanime 2017, 2018, and 2019, and then return after the to 2020, I think. Return after the pandemic in 2023, and they still say, "Oh, that's Kal Kat. He just came in. Say hi to Kal Kat." Yes. Mark's cards. Or John Yeager, Adam Brown. John Yeager is the other guy, the producer. We're currently the producers of all the channels. So, everybody else has passed, and we're the producers. Yeah, and some of them moved away, and you can't go to the Knapp House / Labenden House Shaft Bates House. It's Bates House in Monte Diablo. It's been sold. You can't go to the other ones. The Patchen House is long gone. It's sold. They went on to a smaller place, and then that's gone. And yeah, so you can't do any of those. So don't bother searching for those. So yeah, and Yvonne's house looked like the Brady house. I'm sure whoever built the house to look like that was thinking of the Brady. And then they bought it in 1988. I believe it was the same year. 88. 1987, 88, around there. Because in 87, the video, it's another house. It's a different place. But by 88, it's the 88th. It's correct. It's the Brady house. Then on to 2004. I think the last shot of it is 2004. And even there, it's kind of just like an afterthought. Well, 2002 is probably officially the last shot of that house. 2001, 2002. And then you don't see it again. Because, yeah, other things happen. And really, on the actual story, the Patchen story, there was a lot of issues. Let's just go there with that. Yeah, and you don't want to deal with them in an actual story. You don't want to film home movies of why her ex was a dick. You don't want to film that. You don't want to put that in there. So none of that was in there. But yeah, yeah, he's actually a criminal. Yeah, they're all long gone, I think. So yeah, the Yvonne's yeah, family. It was not like the Brady Bunch at all. Let's say, not in the slightest. Definitely some messed up stuff going on that. That we didn't want to film and didn't film. But the foosball table was, the extent of the competition, let's say. Tried a variety thing, with our later stuff to do other things. I always had the variety thing in mind because the neighbors, that used to be the neighbors, that house has been recently resold, so it's not them anymore either. The neighbors were originally in the 80s were the Jays. And the Jays had two kids my age there, Sharon and Michelle, and so we had a little program, we'd play out there, like 8 or 9, 7 to 9 years old. Okay, that's the age group. The Kitty Show, that's what it was, and then by 6th and 7th grade, it was called Milpitas something, Milpitas Show. By junior high, by 2014, it was called by junior high. 2014. By junior high, 1984, 84. It was called On Location, and then it had its anniversary in 2014. Brain fart. 84. It was On Location, and it's been on location ever since in some form or another. And I mentioned on there, On Location mission's canceled yet again. Thinking television show. It's not a television show. It's just a family video. I commented in the comments. I said, "Quit like it's a TV show. It's not. It was just Christmas last year. That's all. That's all it was. I guess to market it to the algorithm, call it a TV show. Fine. But other than that, it was just family get together. Next, it's funny that